All right, so. All right, looks like we are on right now. Before we start, for those in the comment section in the chat, could you guys say if you hear us right now? Just want to make sure.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it seems we're good. Martin, you want to kick us off?
Yes, I do. So, anyways, hey guys, welcome to our live stream. Just one day before the Smash Brothers Direct, and well, we're gonna talk about some random leaks. So the first thing we're gonna do is we have a list of them right now. We're not gonna go through all of them probably. Right now, I'm actually joined by Wolfman. Say hi, Wolfman.
Hello.
And yeah, we're just gonna be kind of a casual stream, I guess. So we were going to get Spazzy on for this one. However, he hasn't showed up yet, so he might show up mid live stream. But for right now, it is only me and Wolfman. So we have like we said, we have a list right in front of us. And so Wolfman, do you want to kick off with the first rumor?
Is that the LOZ8 rumor, which I believe we talked about before?
Yes, except this one is a little bit different. This one is a little update to the previous rumor that was that he said. So just kind of give some backstory. We released a discussion video earlier talking about an August Nintendo Direct, and Laws 8 basically leaked something in June relating to Smash Bros. Ultimate even before the E3 Direct happened. And then he also said an August Direct was going to happen. And lo and behold, we have a Smash Bros. Direct. So, yeah, it's pretty much fair to assume that there was some legitimacy in his voice. But again, you know, that's coming from me. My opinion doesn't represent Source Gaming as a whole. We just want to make that clear. So, yeah, that's basically what's going on right now. And in the update one, wait, hang on, because first of all, we just want to make it clear we're not running the stream. Our good friend Kawlun is running the stream. He's hosting right now because my PC is garbage. So he's basically in the background, not talking, doing other things. So thank you to him. But because of that, we can't put visual aid on the stream itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a link in the chat if we can find it with kind of the guide that we're using. So hold up on that just a minute, and we'll give you the leaks that we're going to talk about straight away. So just need to find the actual link. But yeah, no, this live stream, funnily enough, the reason why we're doing it this way is because of two things. One, the Direct itself basically kind of interfered with our plans. And second, you know, it's hard to edit a video overnight that is 50 minutes in length. And I'm a very, very thorough editor. I try my best in doing some janky stuff. So
and if you put me and Spazzy in the same chat, it's going to go on forever.
Pretty much. So it's better to format it as a live stream. So because of that, you know, you don't have a predetermined length, thankfully. So, and considering Spazzy isn't here yet, it might go on for a shorter length, but we'll see. We'll see it as we go along. So, and pardon my stuttering. I'm, like I said, you know, this isn't edited in any way, so you're getting the full experience here. But
Source Gaming warts and all.
pretty much, Source Gaming uncensored, essentially. peeking behind the curtain just a bit. So we are getting a shareable link for you guys right now. Yeah, so I got the link. I'm going to test to make sure it's view only, so that way no one can edit it, because we're actually using the document. Yep, everything seems to be good. So, all right, well, I'm going to drop it in the chat. Here you guys go. It is the whole document that we're using, so that you guys can check it out. So if you guys can't access anything else, let me know.
It's not good, because if you can't access it, I can, because I'm going to be using it too.
Yes.
For comfort and...
Yes, if you, let us know if you can't access the other ones, because they're just other Google Docs. I kind of made like a labyrinth of them. So, but this is like the easiest way to follow them. So in the chat, if you guys have any... Oh, access denied. Okay. All right, we're going to update this then.
Work better if you just screenshotted the pictures and then sent them directly as images into the chat.
I could do that too. So we'll just have to go along with that, because that take up too much time. So you guys at least have a template, and we'll just explain what's going on. So anyways, let's actually get into the first rumor, which we described back was the Laws 8 rumor. We already said the background for the rumor, and well, basically, this is a bit different, because we found a comment from him, and this is really interesting, because this was back when he was initially posting those rumors. I'm going to read it to you. So this is what Laws 8 said in another post. So he says, "It's awfully quiet at the home base, guys. There is unusual secrecy considering Smash Bros. Ultimate. Usually when a game is revealed, you can note people talking about it openly, but that's not the case for this game. I've heard more stuff from Metroid 4 than Ultimate, to be honest. That tells me two things. They have something big planned to reveal before launch, and they're working with someone else and have some kind of NDA for that. As of today, I don't know anything new besides what I already said about newcomers revealed, and that there is some kind of progression or story or some sort that I mentioned with the heroes and versus villains theme. The top half of the post kind of explains, like why there isn't tons of information coming from him. But the bottom one is interesting, and Wolfman, I think you know why, because there was a discussion.
We did like a month ago, right?
Either a month ago or it was several months ago. This was a discussion before the game was even titled Ultimate that we know of.
We talked about that there was a rumor kind of around about an idea of like a heroes and villains conceit.
Right, and it's interesting because I still think this leak is illegitimate, but I find it hilarious it coincides with this leak. This effectively lifts the Imager leak from the grave, if you think about it, because they also claimed a heroes versus villains theme.
Oh dear God, that's back.
Yes, pretty much. And this could be a total coincidence, really.
We should just quickly remind people or mention it to people who may have not been familiar with that, which is that there is an Imager leak that was kind of bounding around the internet. There was sort of a weird kind of bullshit little game about where you could try to find the links to eventually get to what was an Imager file, several images, or 16 images representing supposed characters that were going to be in the game, including the Ice Climbers, Wolf and Ridley, but also King K. Rool, possibly Porky Minch, possibly Medusa from Kid Icarus, and a number of other characters. We were both, and Spazzy as well, were suspicious of this, to say the least, for many, many reasons, not the least of which is that, first off, 1 second, Martin, are you,
yeah,
for people going?
Yeah, you know what? We'll fix that right now, but I'll just kind of multitask. But yeah, the leap was interesting because it used riddles, and then eventually we did a discussion on that back in April and May, and it caught on for some reason. Well, because it was fun to decipher, but then the guy or the person who made it literally just posted on the Smash Bros. Reddit all of the characters because he got tired of everything, I guess. So. And one of the things he said was heroes versus villains. So we're not saying that the Laws 8 leak is connected to that leak. I personally think that the Immerger leak was completely false.
So you don't think that someone would decide to go around providing information by forcing other people to decipher elaborate clues, which really weren't elaborate?
I mean, if you... first of all, it'd be a waste of time, I'd feel. I mean... If you want to do it for the laughs, go ahead. But most of the Push Justin said it best in our Discord server when he said that they usually make those puzzles because people will think they're more legitimate because they have to put in more effort to find out the information. So it's just a tactic that leakers use or in order to make their leak seem legitimate. And I mean, I guess it's okay, but I for that reason alone, I think the Immerger leak was not even true. Now, this leak's a little bit different because there's actually some precedent with his knowledge and information. It's easy to assume things, but this person got a lot of pinpoint stuff right. As we detailed in the past, they got Breath of the Wild links, a bomb. They redid how the bombs worked. They're remotely detonated now, and he predicted that.
There were a number of things that they accurately claimed, and some of which were, I think, kind of easy to predict. Others which were not. I believe they also said that everyone in the cast had come back, which I think a pipe dream for most people.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
there were a few errors, but most of them were fairly small clerical errors.
Yeah, most of them were very, very small. One of the posts said that he claimed wave dashing was there, but in essence, you could mistaken that with the wave landing that was in the game.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I am fixing the documents right now, so you guys hopefully can view it. Let me know if you can now. I'm just setting it up so that way everything is viewed. So I'm watching the chat. So just making sure. But yeah, no, that's the whole point with that leak, was that there was some past credibility. So
I mean, for the Woz comment itself, or Lowe's, or I feel like, besides characters, which is obviously the greatest focal point of the Smash community, now the thing that people are most interested in, aside from all their characters, their Decidueye and Simon Belmont and King K. Rool and Ashley and Skull Kid and everyone else. The biggest thing right now is a story mode.
Yes, that is the number. I think that's a huge speculated thing right now, especially because it could be an easy way to unlock new fighters, especially with the system that Sakurai is talking about in the Direct. So.
Yeah, he has that line about recruiting fighters to join your side, and I don't necessarily think that is in itself indicative at all, because your side can simply mean the ability for you to play them. But
right, but
could also be a hint.
It could also be a hint. That is true. But I wanted to go back to the heroes versus villains thing, because I only brought up the Immerger leak because it was ironically funny. And second, you could technically say that Laws 8 might have taken that prospect from the league if he was indeed faking it. But at this point, I think that there is some, like I said, there was some credibility to this, and the reason why I'm, and we're analyzing it right now. So again, you can believe what you want to believe. In my opinion, doesn't reflect the entirety of Source Gaming. Wolfman might have different ideologies compared to me, but we're still in this together. Am I right, Wolfman?
I am with you until the ship crashes. I mean,
don't you mean the airship? Because this is Nintendo we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Both the heroes and villains concept is just really bizarre to me. I mean, I'm not that it's bad or anything, but it just seems, especially like everyone is here is kind of this concept of the game, right? That that you have all these characters. I mean, probably the most over time wanted character in the series has been included.
The thing with the hero and villain's theme is that I can understand where they might be getting that concept, because if you look at let's look at the newcomer trailer for Ridley, right? His trailer is very, first of all, it's dark because Ridley is a dark character, I mean, there is some dark history with him, and Samus, if you look into Metroid lore. But the thing about it was that there was three people, or three characters who were facing Ridley: Mario, Mega Man, and of course Samus. And Ridley came in and attacked all of them, and Samus was really the only one to survive until the end when they showed off Ridley's final smash. You could technically take from that it was a clean, villain versus hero fight in the trailer itself. Not saying that as a hint, but it is an interesting takeaway, and maybe Laws 8 or someone else who was providing them information saw it and thought okay, maybe they were assuming that was the general theme, and then
I mean that structure of a group of heroes being taken down by the one newcomer villain was also used in the Bowser Jr. trailer. I don't necessarily think that's really indicative of much.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Really,
that's always been a common structure in Smash Bros. Trailers, so it'd be
really
redundant.
Is a villain.
Right.
Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have interrupted.
No, you're fine. It's basically at this point, it's kind of hard to get where they've gotten the information, but I do want to point out one more thing about the trailer, and we'll be done. But I was watching one of Game Explain's discussions recently. Shout outs to them. Basically, one idea that was tossed around in there was that the trailer might have been kind of a cutscene for story mode, and that might tie in to the theme of story mode, which is heroes and villains. I'm not trying to stretch it, but it could be where that piece of information is coming from, if that is the case. We really don't know much about it. We'll probably know tomorrow if they are willing to reveal it, but it's just one idea that they might have that's just been tossed around. So, do you have anything else to say on the subject, Wolfman?
To respond to a comment made by Austin Argo, which says, "Do you think that Sakurai will make some kind of comment regarding the whole Luigi not playable debacle?" Personally, I don't think so. Certainly not in the direct. He might do so over Twitter or in his Famitsu column, but I think try to focus on what is in the game, rather than characters who haven't.
And also, we want to thank you guys for watching. We actually have 300 people watching us. Huge record. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Probably because of all of this Smash Brothers hype. To kind of bounce off of what Wolfman said, I kind of I think that they wouldn't acknowledge Waluigi at all. I think that's already been acknowledged just slightly in the E3 Direct. So they showed Waluigi as an assist trophy, and I think that they should end it as that.
Yeah, it's Waluigi's great. He is also just one character among hundreds owned by Nintendo.
Exactly, but that's what makes it fun, because we don't know which characters to expect tomorrow. That's kind of the guessing game, especially with these rumors popping up, because you don't know who's right and who's wrong, or you don't know if this character is going to get in or not. It's really a really fun experience, and especially because this Direct was like announced out of nowhere. Like, we had no rumor saying, we had the August Direct rumor, but we thought it'd be a general Direct. We didn't think it would be a Smash-specific Direct so soon.
Yeah. Honestly, I am a bit surprised about that. We had a couple leaks that said there was going to be an August Direct.
There's a lot of speculation around that, as well as the rumors, so I wasn't surprised when we got, semi-confirmation of a Direct, but I wasn't even expecting a gaming-focused Direct, especially when you look at how Nintendo has been perceiving Directs as of late, because each of the Directs would be like, okay, is a general Direct, but featuring this game, or featuring this game. I thought it'd be a general Smash Brothers, or a general Direct starring Smash Brothers,
Yeah.
But, anyways, we're kind of steering the ship off course a little bit. Might as well. We're gonna
move to the next one.
We're not gonna move on to the next one because there's a little bit more with the Laws 8 stuff.
Okay, sorry.
One Discord user by the name of Pinky Dawn, shoutouts to them. They transcribed some comments that Laws 8 had made, and the reason why they were transcribed, if you have the notes open, you'll know why. But they're transcribed because Laws 8 actually made their profile completely closed. Like, no one can go into there. I don't know if GameFAQs users can or not, but maybe certain users can. I don't know, but outsiders can't peer in or see any of that. So thankfully we have these transcriptions, and they're not super, new kind of new information. But, however, they do reveal some things that he did get right. So if you go through it, we're going to go through the image that's called capture.png. The other one, which continues, is called capture2.png. So if you guys are following along, this is the reference. So, Wolfman, do you have those up right now?
Capture 2, and that's the everyone is back.
No, we're talking about Capture 1 right now.
Okay, sorry.
No, I just wanted to see if you could read Capture 1 off, and then I'll do Capture 2.
Sure. That would be a few more from him.
Yes.
I'm tired.
That's all right. If you want me to read it, I can.
Please, I could do this entirely.
Okay.
First comment says that Zelda has what they describe as a Wii U Link vibe, with, quote, realistic movement, cartoony look, and that there's an alternate costume for a Breath of the Wild Zelda. We obviously didn't get the latter. Certainly, Zelda's Link Between Worlds design is fairly cartoony, while also kind of realistic in that way. There's also a chance that Zelda could have an alternate costume that we haven't seen. I'm kind of doubtful of that, because we've also seen her in play as a Meta Ridley costume, which we haven't seen in play at all.
I do want to point out, first of all, that Sakurai specifically said in the Direct that they chose Link to the Past Zelda because Breath of the Wild Zelda was a technician and was not a fighter. So I'm pretty sure they wouldn't do Breath of the Wild Zelda as an alternate costume if that was the case.
It could also be alternate costume inspired. I don't think they'd have to keep a dress, but it wouldn't be Like more like the ceremonial robes she has.
Yeah, they could do something like how they did that Skyward Sword alternate costume and Smash Wii U, where Link kept the hats and the Twilight Princess garb, but it just had the Skyward Sword marking. So they could do something similar to that, but
yeah, I don't really think. I'm kind of unconvinced about that, but I'm going to go to the next one. Don't know anything about newcomers besides Inklings.
That's pretty normal. He specifically said that in his past post. So,
like whether or not it was weird that he or she didn't know about Ridley or.
So I think maybe we should speed this up a little bit. I'll take the helm with this. But basically, just to kind of sum it up, he says that air dodges can be directional. The directional air dodge is back in the game. He says that if there is no direction set, it is neutral, like the Wii U version. And I don't know that specific part of the mechanics because I haven't been paying attention to the mechanics really deeply. But if someone from the competitive community can tell us maybe in the chat, that'd be great. If they are neutral, if you don't do a direction for directional air dodging. So, anyways, the next point is that in order to master it, there is like new block tech or something like that. And
basically, the more you dodge, the slower you go.
Yes, and that was explicitly highlighted in the E3 Direct. So that he gets a point for that. He does talk about wave dashing though, and again, that wasn't the case. Wave dashing does not exist in Ultimate.
Don't know if this has an impact in wave dashing.
Right.
So, it's. Next one is more characters are coming, but not sure if they'll reveal them today, which was always going to be the case.
Yeah, and then he says that a reveal is happening at the Invitational. We got nothing from there, so that's kind of a point against that. There
could have been a possibility that they put Ridley's unveiling. No, wait, he's in the demo, of course. Never mind.
Yeah, I mean, unless they wanted to. I mean, if they had a plan to reveal Neko Fighter at the Invitational, maybe that was scrapped or something. I don't know. I mean, you could say that maybe they had other stuff planned for E3, but decided to pull off until this Direct, because this Direct seemed like it was highly abrupt. So, who knows? But
the last things are a claim that wave dashing can be performed. Some suggestions say that the mechanics of Ultimate kind of stop that from happening. And that finally, quote, no word on Dixie, but there's strong indications that the theme is heroes versus villains. Suggests King K. Rool. That concept pretty thoroughly earlier.
Yeah, and basically he just says, no word on Dixie, but King K. Rool's a newcomer is not confirmed either. But the heroes and villains theme, which we talked about earlier, may hint at that. That's just his own speculation. So basically, the whole point of this one picture is that he's basically repeating what he said earlier, but with some additional tidbits. And so it's not like totally new information. It's not a new post, but it's just additional tidbits that he said that might affect his credibility just a bit. But that's why we're talking about this. So, and then to go to the second image to make it brief, he says everyone is back, which is the huge selling point of Ultimate, so that makes sense. Talks about all the characters coming back. Zelda's model is based off Link Between Worlds. That's what's said in the Direct, although technically speaking from A Link to the Past, but anyway, branding. Link doesn't have the hook shot. I don't know whether that detail is accurate. Do you know whether that detail is accurate?
Yeah, Link does not have a hook shot. He uses his standard grab.
Okay, so that point is right. Okay. Now, the next line says the demo will have 10 to 12 characters. That was way more than that in the demo, so that's kind of out of the picture. He says there's no menu. I would be inclined to believe that, because demos aren't really supposed to have, title screens, I guess. It's easy for development just to go into it right away. He also says that it's different from Smash 4. He also says the Inkling's effect to shoot ink wears off after some seconds. And then he also says Final Destination, Battlefield, and the Inkling stage is Moray Towers, which is completely accurate.
And also probably one of the more interesting surprises, given that there were a number of stages you could have considered.
Right, exactly. You would have thought the stage that they would have had would have been Inkopolis Plaza. So...
of other stages. Salisbury Rig, maybe not Walleye Warehouse, but certainly a few.
Right, exactly. So the reason why we're just going over this is because of the Heroes versus Villains theme that he was talking about. And I think you and me, Wolfman, are kind of in agreement that the Heroes versus Villains theme is kind of a weird thing. It hasn't been explicitly mentioned, and there's not really anything steering that toward that direction. You know, I mean,
I feel like we, talked about it a lot. It's not necessarily that no Smash game would do it, but that it almost feels odd that a Smash game would do it while also kind of focusing on this notion of, bringing everyone back. That would be for an installment that tried to add a large number of new characters.
Right, exactly. So, anyways, I think we'll get off that rumor because there's not really anything of substance. It's just more of the same thing, just with more tidbits in there. So if you guys are in the document right now, you guys can close out of the Laws 8 rumor update. And we're going to go to the next one below that, which isn't Smash oriented. But I wanted to bring this up because, first of all, it's a small thing. And second, it's still very interesting. So to kind of explain, King Zell is a Reset Era user who's been basically making mysterious cryptic messages that Mario Maker, as well as the N64 Mini, might be coming in 2019. And the reason why we're paying attention to this is because he, along with other people kind of in the know, said to temper your expectations with Nintendo's E3 Directs in the past. There's also some Pokemon stuff he got right, and something with Platinum Games, although the Platinum Games thing I'm not really as informed on, so the two above I would just mainly pay attention to. So this one is basically on the basis of the Pokemon stuff and the N64 Mini. So we also got a screenshot with some of the posts. So that's convenient for you guys. We can kind of tag along, but yeah, I guess we'll get into the first rumor. The first post this person has said. And Wolfman, do you want to take the helm with the first post? Because it's literally just 2 words.
Oh yeah, and that would be specific. Oh yeah, Mario Maker.
Literally plain as day. Literal. I don't know. Go ahead, Wolfman.
No, it's not that I don't think he's necessarily wrong. Like, I think, Mario Maker is entirely possible. It's certainly probable at some point. I just feels as though the reason we're focusing on him is that he said that he warned people not to temper their expectations. And a lot of people did that, even ones who were industry insiders, which I'm not.
Well, first of all, right? This discussion isn't necessarily about the best rumors possible. We're not tackling tons of credible stuff. Like, we could be tackling one credible thing, and another thing could be not even credible. Like, this is just a for fun thing. You guys gotta remember. You guys in the chat have to remember that, because we are not endorsing any of these leaks whatsoever. This is just a for fun thing. So they can go from reasonable to ridiculous.
And I guess my concern is I don't really feel like there's that much here, like, even to talk about. 2 Pokemon games that come out for 2019 make sense. They're not going to have a mainline Gen 8 kind of, like, shore up the space from Let's Go. And especially because it's presumably going to take Game Freak a long time to get adjusted to working on an HD platform.
Right, Mario Maker is a easy thing to kind of port because, first of all, it was already ported to the 3DS version, which sets precedent for it. And second, I mean, the game's full of 2D sprites, so it's really easy to get it up and running. The only thing that's kind of hard about the game is probably the online infrastructure. That's the only thing I can see being the hard thing to get working. So that's what I think. Yeah, I can understand your position, Wolfman. There's not really much to talk about, but I wanted to bring this.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
But I wanted to bring this up because it's one of those things that, like, we haven't really heard much about the Nintendo 64 Mini or anything, because, like, it seems like maybe this year Nintendo is a lot more reserved. Because basically Nintendo is writing on Smash Brothers for the rest of the year, I believe. I mean, a lot of people speculated the game would come out in September. Smash Ultimate would be, but it got moved to December. It got pushed to December, and there's some gaps in there and stuff. So what I'm talking about mainly is 2019 itself, because with Nintendo's schedule and everything, they're probably going to want to have like a lot of heavy duty hitters next year, especially because we know we haven't had or heard anything about Yoshi, Bayonetta 3, or Metroid Prime 4. So, and this might kind of give a glimpse into that a little bit. So, I mean, do you have anything else to say on this, Wolfman? Or
literally nothing. Sorry, I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound rude. I just
no. That's understandable. This was just kind of a transitional room. So I guess the kind of break up the pace, because we don't want to talk about Smash repeatedly, but Smash hype is important.
The environment, yeah. So I guess for the next one, for Jebin Rises Again. Somehow.
Yeah.
It's Simon Belmont and Isabelle.
Yeah, this one is really interesting because like, first of all, a lot of people thought that Vergebin was going to retire. Essentially, there was a post the user made where they talked about there wasn't that much information, and it was going to be hard to find something truly definitive because Nintendo might be weeding out the leakers and stuff. And whether you believe him or not, it kind of pointed towards his retirement a little bit, and then. Not even 2 days later, I think, we got more supposed information from him, and he's been basically just going out. I wouldn't say on a tangent, but kind of try. He claims he's trying to weed out the fake leakers and stuff, and I think as Spazzy has put in the past, he just wants attention. I think so.
To be honest, I know he has some credits in the past, but as far as I can tell, those credits were somewhat vague. If he did, I don't know. I think I said this before with him, that, like, a lot of the reason... I feel like a lot of the reason why so many of these leaks include Simon Belmont is because he said Simon Belmont. Yeah,
I mean, we've mentioned in the past that Simon Belmont wasn't even firstly mentioned by Vergebin. There were some other people who mentioned him before, like Stealth and others. you know, there was other people who hinted towards him. So he could be getting some information from different sources that say the same thing, or, you know, like the conventional wisdom says, you know, he could easily be taken and compiling a lot of other information into one. You know, I'm not trying to discredit him or anything like that, but you have to be really critical, especially of just text rumors, you know. And I'll admit, he has gotten some stuff right in the past, but the thing with Verge is that he does it in a way that he doesn't weed out like the bad stuff. Like, he just, to me, kind of throws stuff to the wind and expects people to go through it themselves, kind of like a rummage sale, almost. So that's what I think this whole rumor fiasco is about. So, because the first post, I mean, it says Simon and Isabelle. You'll thank me later. Except for how many new fake leaks you have to sift through that are going to pop up that include them now. I apologize for the incoming chaos. Which, I mean, hey, at least he's leaking with style.
At least he's saying something.
At least he did something unique.
Unlike, say, some leakers that say one game and provide no extra details, last guy.
Exactly. At least he didn't make it a riddle. But the next one, this one is the more interesting one, because he responds to someone and he says that since you people keep bugging me and tagging me for Smash Ultimate info constantly, I'll leave you with a morsel to speculate over. Decidueye isn't the Gen 7 Pokemon character. Which, I mean, first of all, Decidueye is probably the most, I'm not going to say requested because I don't have stats, but the most speculated character.
If, like, you compiled all of the sort of heavy hitters for, like, Pokemon that are regularly requested for this iteration, or not, you restricted to Gen 7 Pokemon, Decidueye is almost certainly at the top. At least for fans, the front runner, and has been for some time. I think it's fair to assume that we'll get a Gen 7 Pokemon, being that Smash is, you know, typically has Pokemon each game, and that the series is huge and popular enough to justify that, and that Gen 7 has a variety of potential picks Sakurai could use.
Right.
Yeah, I think Mimikyu is also up there, and only recently have people kind of, I think, been considering it.
Yeah, Mimikyu seems to be growing a lot in popularity, especially on the Japanese side of things. Like, I don't know how accurate that is, but I know in a couple polls that Pokemon was ranking pretty highly, which I'm surprised by, but would be interesting would be interesting to include in Smash Brothers, just because of the kind of like disgusting look of Mimikyu, just a bit.
I think this is something where you could go outside of the Smash community and just look at Pokemon, where Mimikyu is incredibly popular. Lycanroc, which was it didn't really get this nearly to the same extent Lucario did, but it definitely did get a fairly sizable push because of its two separate forms, and then later its super special third separate form. Point, I believe, in the anime. That was something that was big for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, so I think that's another one. The other two Alolan starters, Incineroar or Primarina. There's also, you could potentially do something off of the legendary Pokemon Silvally, some of the Ultra Beasts, particularly Nihilego. So there's a few.
Yeah.
Person says Golisopod, and that would be pretty great.
Yeah, it's basically at this point a guessing game of Pokemon, because how Sakurai structures the Pokemon reps most of the time is just making placeholders. So, I mean, as we saw with the Gamatsu leak, and I believe statements Sakurai has made in the past about Ike and Lucario and how they were placeholders. You know, Greninja was also a placeholder, so I'm expecting the same with this Pokemon. So it's basically just kind of, like I said, a rummage sale, going through each one to find out which most likely has the chance.
It's not quite that. I mean, it is partially that. He set aside a space for a new Fire Emblem character in Brawl, and he did set aside a space for a Pokemon in Brawl and for 3DS and Wii U. But they did decide on them fairly early because you still need to. It was just that, at least for Greninja, he seemed to have gotten all of the information from like kind of early design documents and character art.
Yeah.
On his own. So presumably it's one of the Pokemon that were either advertised earlier, a legendary, or a starter, that he would get access to the information earlier because they would have developed the information earlier.
Yeah, that's what makes this whole thing interesting, because this game was most likely in development alongside Pokemon Sun and Moon. So it's trying to find the one that was the most complete right when development was starting on Smash Bros. Ultimate. So that's kind of the point at right now. A huge guessing game. So I'm not gonna hold any bets, because first, I'm not a Pokemon guy. I'll straight out say that. You can scorn me all you want, but I'm not a Pokemon guy. I respect everyone who plays Pokemon, but I just never got in the RPG elements.
Maybe we could get a little bit more to the point.
No, it's well, I'm gonna get to the point, but I mean, come on, this is a live stream. People are gonna see all this. So if I was editing this, I'd be getting all ASAP. But this is the real me, guys. This is the full real me. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this. One thing I do want to talk about, though, is Isabelle specifically, because some people have speculated whether or not she is
An Echo Fighter.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think, Wolfman?
Okay, so my feeling regarding Animal Crossing is that like Villager's moveset is so specific and so strong and so kind of central to the the Animal Crossing experience that either an entirely new character to represent a whole new side of that, or be an Echo Fighter. And I think being an Echo Fighter is perfectly fine. It works, it makes sense, and if those two are the ones we're getting tomorrow, then it makes sense to have a fully new newcomer and a
Yeah, exactly. I think Isabelle would be more suited as like a semi-clone, kind of like how people perceive Dixie might be.
I could see that. I'm still a little suspicious if we're going to get characters like that, just because with the smaller pool of newcomers, I'm wondering if Sakurai might want to just go with like drastically unique and wild characters. But on the other hand, having characters who are a little more easy to develop would mean we could get a bigger cast. But
oh, hey Spazzy. How's it going? Oh, he is completely silent at this moment, but good old Spazzy is here. Which effectively means the entire gang is here as well. So once he appears, just we'll say hi. But yeah, to kind of basically until then. To kind of bounce off what you were saying, Wolfman, it's it'll be interesting to see how they do Isabelle's movesets. I really am curious if they make her all original, semi-original, or just basic clone. Which I still will go by my idea that she'll be a semi-clone. So.
Should we wait for Spazzy before going to the next one?
Sure, why not? So for you guys, we're going to wait for Spazzy, but until then...
we would love to know Oh, sorry. I was gonna just go. Sorry.
I was gonna say you can actually ask us questions in the chat if you want to. It would be a short intermission if you guys want to. So
say, ask what kind of echoes you want, but that's actually a way better idea.
Yeah, let the people choose. So, but they just
because what's that Evo leak? I'm not familiar enough with Evo.
I never heard of the Evo leak. You would have to send me a link of that one. The only thing I knew about was the Simon Belmont and the Isabelle. So again, this discussion isn't going to cover every single leak, but it's going to cover just leaks in general. So
yeah, I'm not particularly in any kind of like fighting game community other than Smash, of course.
So we got a question from Elliot Jason. What do you guys think about, or what do you think about King K. Rool? And I'm pretty sure we can have discussions on this for eons, but you know what? I'm gonna ask you, Wolfman. Like, what are your thoughts on King K. Rool's inclusion if they do pull the trigger on that?
About how kind of what we know about the ballot now, which is that it had a drastically less effect on the choosing of the final DLC characters as it did. I think that K. Rool is a lot more likely because it's like the Mii costume was I think it's a very clear statement that King K. Rool is popular, and that's why they wanted to acknowledge him. So I actually think he's still in the likely, but I do think he is definitely more. I feel a lot safer in him than I did even like a month ago or so.
First of all, I just want to point out a comment by Ground Beef. They said red eyes equals K. Rool or Gino. First of all, the whole red eyes thing is not a hint. Do not take it as a hint. It's probably just Sakurai talking about his condition during the recording, just like how he talked about his weights in the Famitsu column we translated. Do not take that as any confirmation or anything like that. We just translated it for the sake of translating it.
Yeah, Sakurai has been not incredibly candid, but reasonably open with, his health in relation to these games.
Yeah,
and not everything he says is this elaborate, like, die, like.
Can you guys hear me?
Chess. Yes.
I can hear you, Spazzy.
Okay, if that works, that works.
All right, we got the entire gang back together. So, for those who just joined, I am the host, Epic7, and we are joined by Wolfman and now Spazzy.
I wonder if I'm using the laptop or not. I don't think it matters, though.
I mean, you sound fine. It's a little lower quality than normal, but it still works. So
I'd like to figure out how to actually do this, but whatever. Who cares? Hey, guys.
So, well, first of all, do you have the Google Docs open?
Google Docs open.
Yeah, we in our private chats, I gave you the list of leaks. I can post it again if you want me to.
Oh, where are we at? Which leak?
So we are at the Vergebin one, as always. Seems like we've
Memorial or out of retirement. I don't know where we're at, guys.
We just finished Vergebin.
Yeah, I want to get his thoughts on it first because we're talking about the Isabelle and Simon Belmont's one right now, along with the 7th gen Pokemon not being Decidueye.
It's funny, it's not Decidueye, but it could totally be Rowlet. About that. And Rowlet's by far the most popular 7th gen Pokemon from what I see, which isn't much because I don't really know about Pokemon, but I see Rowlet everywhere.
Oh, Rowlet's incredible, and it would actually be really fun to have a Pokemon that was, as much as I do love Decidueye, and as much as I love like cooler, more fully evolved Pokemon, yeah, some kind of Pokemon lower on the evolutionary ladder would actually be pretty fun too.
Yeah, we've got Pichu, we've got we have Pikachu, Squirtle, Jigglypuff. Actually, the majority of the Pokemon are not final evolutions.
Holy damn!
Only
Actually,
five-
yeah. Pokemon Trainer coming back completely flips that around.
Because
Yeah, it
there's
does.
so I mean, I don't know why we're completely discounting Rowlet, and everyone's talking about Ultra Beasts and.
Well,
whatever.
I think the reason why is because Decidueye has the fire form, kind of like he has the form of a fighter almost, and people picture that in their head like, oh, he could be extremely unique because of it. But I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, I think Incineroar could be okay. I mean, if they really lean heavily and make him appear like if he has more than one command grab. Cool.
Bowser is really the closest we have to like a pure grappler / wrestler character in the game.
Well, I mean, some of Snake's moves is kind of like smuggling fighter, so I guess you could technically count that as grappling almost. But
it's kind of a grappler too, and I'm trying to think. I guess that's mostly it. Like,
well, Bowser also has the drop kick.
Yeah, I know. Bowser's the most wrestly out of all of them. I still think Decidueye is really cool design-wise. Delphus and Xeno sold me on Lycanroc. Maybe he's just said it so much that it's, seeped into my head at this point.
I feel like Lycanroc is kind of... you remember how around the Brawl era there was a lot of interest in Wolflink? I feel like Lycanroc could be a somewhat more interesting version of that.
Just looking at Delz's concept art for him, I kind of like the concept of somebody that uses a lot of earth attacks and a lot of traps based off of earth attacks. Have either of you guys played Rivals of Aether?
No, but I've been wanting to.
It's a pretty fun game. I really like Crag's recovery move, which I think whatever the Walrus dude in Brawl Out also uses that. A similar move where it's just like a pillar, a destructible pillar that raises up, so you're not actually raising the character, you're just kind of creating a temporary platform. And nobody has that sort of recovery in Smash, but I don't know if Sakurai would actually do that, because nobody has that in Smash.
I mean, if Lycanroc could use Stone Edge in that form, which I guess would be sort of like a combination of a platform and then also the cannon that Bowser Jr. had, or the exploding ship.
It could be interesting. I think any Pokemon newcomer would be fine. I'm not really married to any concept with that. So, but I do think a lot of people jumped the gun a little bit on Decidueye. He also said that it wasn't Mimikyu or someone else. Or Lycanroc. That's correct.
That, I will say, if to Vergeman's credit, that is at least a throwing down of the gauntlet to get rid of kind of the three probably most easily chosen ones on there. Does track for Sakurai. Greninja, is an incredibly popular Pokemon even before it got into Smash, but I think very few people at all predicted it.
Back at the beginning of Smash 4 speculation, everyone was on the Zoroark train, right?
Yeah, that was it. It was Zoroark and occasionally Hawlucha, but no one really ever thought about which would be the best Gen 7 or Gen 6 type. But
I mean, Smash 4 came out at a really strange time. You know what I think is a make or break thing for his league, and if his info is legit and he's telling the truth, a chance of being shown tomorrow, because I think Isabelle's likely, and if Isabelle's shown as an Echo or not as an Echo, it does nothing for his room.
Yeah,
I've expected her. The Pokemon thing kind of would nail it, and I could see a Pokemon being revealed, but it still kind of leaves things up in the air. I mean, it's also hindsight thing where even though everyone said Decidueye, people would be like, Incineroar's an easy guess. Not an easy guess because it wouldn't have been before, but
note that he explicitly says 3 that won't be there, but none that will. So,
but
again.
But what I'm going to say is, I think we're going to have of the direct tomorrow that's going to be dedicated to stages, because the stages and items aren't open up yet, unlike characters, or music.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be a showcase for stages and items, and if that's the case, I think if he's legit, that would be the time to show the Minecraft stage and or item.
Good point.
No, I think that's not wrong. And to be honest, I've been kind of wondering what's been going on with the Smash Bros. Website, because really, since the announcement was made, the actual updating's been all out of whack. The American side is not coming up anywhere close to the Japanese side. The Japanese side is for late or just completely in a wrong time. It's very odd, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting because today's song hasn't even come out yet.
Yeah, because today's song is a remix of Vampire Killer. It's going to be really weird without the official Simon Belmont reveal. But I'll say this: I don't think if Simon's legit, I still feel like he makes more sense for a later reveal. I think we're going to get another Direct next month, because the general big Nintendo Directs have been spaced out about 3 months. And this is a Smash Direct, and there's still stuff they need to talk about, because E3 barely covered non-Smash, and this is just Smash. And I don't think there'll be a lot of Smash in the next Direct, in the September Direct. A newcomer.
Yeah, they'll probably space it out with each character reveal, I'm assuming. I mean, considering if you take Sakurai into consideration, they'll probably just end up having a blowout tomorrow and then kind of leave a little crumbs after that for each Direct. So I could definitely see that. But
that's all. That's always been Sakurai's thing. Have occasional blowouts, patterned over very constant breadcrumbs. Admittedly, it's been harder now because we learned so much that really the only thing new we are getting is music. But still,
right.
I think that it's big prediction. I have a lot of stupid ones. On Japan Time yesterday, I was saying Isaac is an assist trophy, or really specific adventure mode stuff. But I'm gonna say that I really believe that we're gonna have stages and items on the website revealed.
I agree,
because it's weird that the website's half done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this is going to be modes and kind of side things.
Modes, stages, and items. Exactly. I think he's gonna to really get into that sort of thing. And yeah, as far as Verge's leak, to kind of bring it all back, I do think that leak is. It's going to be. I don't think that things are going to get deconfirmed in other. I mean, unless they show the Isabelle assist trophy, it would be deconfirmed. Whatever.
Disconfirmed is the correct.
Yeah. Confirmed, I believe, is the
Yeah, but I think that'll do it for the Vergebin leak, especially considering we've covered him on every single one of our discussions that we've done. So
yeah, I'm sure you guys are all sick of it by now. So
I'm complete. I mean, I'd be happy with any Gen 7 Pokemon, but regardless of whether that part's true, I'm kind of sick of Vergebin.
Hey, Vergebin means forgive, and I don't forgive him for these leaks because I'm sick and tired of them. So that's how you bring it all around. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Vergebin. We're done with that, and we can move on to the good stuff. I guess we can call it not necessarily 100% true, but not necessarily 100% false. It's one of those things that it's catching people's attention, but there's still some mystery to it. So what we're going to talk about is the fabled Spanish press rumor that's been kind of circulating. We've had a lot of requests to talk about it. So do any of you guys have the link pulled up for it right now? Okay, so
Yeah.
Wolfman, if you want to kind of start talking about it.
Yeah. I'm just going to say beforehand, I really appreciate that this is, for the most part, fairly straightforward. All returning characters plus 8 brand newcomers and 3 Echo Fighters. Newcomers are Inkling, Ridley, Simon Belmont, Chorus Kids, King K. Rool, Elma from Xenoblade X, Dixie Kong, who this person kind of specifies as being somewhere closer to what we generally call a semi-clone of Diddy Kong, and Ashley, with the Echo Fighters being Daisy, Dark Samus, and Octoling. All returning characters plus 8 brand. I can hear me. Oh no. Oh, sorry. Someone must have. Never mind.
Oh no, yeah. Sorry, there was an echo there. I was opening up for a minute, and we doubled up. Sorry.
It was exciting. It was like being on Quantum Leap. The big thing here, I think, is just for characters is no Pokemon, which is, I think, very noticeable. They also say no Dragon Quest.
I was just gonna say the thing about this is, and you can continue, is that this was made before Verjaben had his rumors come out, his second round of rumors come out. The suspect that Simon Belmont, which he kind of made popular via his rumors, is on here, but none of the characters from the other rumors are. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, no, it's fine. No, Dragon Quest also states we're not getting a Sora or a Dragon Quest representative, though they also say there's nothing known about DLC. Adventure modes returns, but quote, uses extended versions of some stages instead of exclusive field stages, which I'm assuming means that instead of having like kind of larger platforming stages like the Subspace Emissary, features something like, I don't know, like,
you know what it sounds like to me?
Star.
It sounds like he says extended versions of some stages. So it sounds like existing stages in the game, like let's say Lilat, Salt, but extended to be more of an event. Yeah, which doesn't make any sense to me, but that seems to be what he's implying.
I was having trouble actually like stating it, that I was thinking of something like Brinstar, but not necessarily stretched out, but just having a bunch more stuff. Which I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
you could use Palutana's Temple.
Yeah, this link is pretty, as Wolfman put it, pretty nice, because there wasn't, chock full of detail. I actually got to the point, which thank God. But the reason why we're kind of paying attention to this, first of all, is because there was a separate leak on Event Hubs. Event Hubs did an article talking about Verjaben's leak, and ironically, someone posted in the comments that they heard something, blah, blah, blah. And this actually lines up with the Spanish press rumor, which is kind of weird. They say basically almost the same thing, which is really interesting. So it's not.
Somebody was saying that how Mii's are hurting because Miitomo's gone and Miiverse is gone. But I'll tell you, Smash-wise, Mii's have 2 home stages in the game. Tamagotchi Life has been confirmed, as well as Find Me. Representation in Smash, not just. You know what? I wonder if we're going to see any more Mii costumes. That'll be an interesting thing to see.
Yeah, I've been wondering. I mean, the fact that we've only seen their default faces has been something I've been kind of wondering about, which makes me think that there's not necessarily this direct, but if there is another direct, I think it would have to be just on discussing stuff like the presumed removal of stuff like customization or costumes.
I don't think you advertise by lack of. You don't advertise a lack of features.
Oh yeah, no.
But I do think the Mii's have to be customizable. It's the entire. That's the entire point of the characters.
Yeah, they're essentially create your own character.
One thing is,
Why would Sakurai have gone out of his way to give them 12 voice options if there's no other options for customization? Why add? That's I don't know.
That it's on their description on the blog. It says you can also choose. Oh, sorry. You can choose one from the 3 types and select from a set of 3 specials.
I think there'll be costumes. I think there will be Phantom. We'll see who's right. Well, I think honestly that they're going to probably be expounded upon, if not in this direct, then maybe in the next direct, because he hasn't really talked about them at all.
Oh, and one thing to mention is what happens when you transfer your Mii Amiibos data from the Wii U and 3DS versions to Ultimates. You gotta retain some of that data, and some of the data saved on those Amiibos, on the Mii Amiibos, are costumes. So
yeah.
Well, sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get to hearing more about the Mii specifically at some point.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm detouring us a lot. I'm just trying to follow the chat as well. But so what was it you were saying, Martin, that made this that made people pay attention to this leak again? Was there something that happened?
Yeah, no, nothing in particular happened. However, it's interesting because the original leak, the Spanish press rumor, came out according to the archive on June 15th, on a Friday. And similarly, there was another posting, and first of all, it was an article by Event Hub that was covering Vergebin's rumor, ironically. And in the comment section, by a user named YTP Haruko, or whatever you pronounce that name, they said that there was this rumor going around the E3 staff that this and this is going to happen. And it's literally a one-for-one thing lining up with the Spanish press rumor. Things are literally the exact same with maybe one detail that's added in, and which is kind of weird. It's kind of like a similar situation to, if you remember the ASRB leak, there was that rumor on 4chan that, like, it was with Ninka and Van Rose's leak. They kind of lined it up with that, but they added their own stuff onto it.
They had Impa, Wolf, Ridley, some Dixie, I think something like that.
I think so, along with Course Kids or something. So it's kind of a similar situation here, which does hinder the credibility a lot because you could just simply copy and paste it. But it's still interesting to pay, I think, personally, to pay attention to because of that, because it's coming from 2 different places that might have not 2 different connections.
Now, the thing is that this one also, I see, has Inkling, Ridley, Simon Belmont, Chorus Kids, King K. Rool, Elma, Dixie is not a clone, and Ashley. And the Echo Fighters are Daisy, Dark Samus, and Octoling. Now, I think up with the Spanish press rumor, but it doesn't match up with Verge's rumor. Although, to say they're not both correct, and we have these plus the 7th gen Pokemon plus Isabelle. That would be like a ridiculous amount of content.
Yeah, it would be. But as you pointed out before, just if you're trying to cross both rumors, just don't cross the streams. It never works out. Basically, it's either this one or Vergebin's. And personally, if you look at Vergebin's credibility, he has gotten some stuff right, technically speaking. So there is something there. But with this one, you don't know who to trust.
Exactly, and the common point is Simon Belmont.
Ultimately, I do think this is sort of this roster is a little weird. Not necessarily in a way that, like, I think would be that Sakurai would be opposed to, but I don't know. You know what I mean?
It seems very fan servicey, but this seems like a very fan servicey Smash.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. What this Smash reminds me of is kind of tying up the loose ends almost. Like getting all the fan characters and fan content out of the way. I mean, in this game, there's a stage hazard toggle, which has been requested since Smash Wii U dropped, and we have it now. So Sakurai is going out of his way to add stuff, but I don't think he would go that extreme and adding like tons of characters. I mean, I think the Echo Fighter moniker was made for one to make people accept the fact that clones are going to be in this game, and second, as a consolation prize for not being able to make as many unique newcomers in this game.
I think it was just a way on his part to just give them kind of a special identity that, like, the term clone is inherently really derisive. Like, it's always, like, it's always been a statement of just, like, this is a less valuable character. Having, I think, Echo kind of emphasizes this idea of, there being, like almost like a remix of a beloved prior character. And admittedly track super well with their Japanese name, which is Dash Fighters.
Right. They're named that because of how quick they're easy to make. So that's the whole point behind them. And I think that mentality is saying, like, okay, if you guys want fighters, make a clone that's easy to make and no time flats.
This roster has no retro characters, which I don't necessarily think is a big problem. But I do think it's weird that there's no genuine surprise character. Like, even the chorus kids aren't that shocking by this point.
No.
As much as
this is such a different Smash, though. It's hard to say. But you know what? I agree with you, Wolfman, that if there are this many new characters, to not have a single surprise would be weird. Because that's a large number, too.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, the thing with Sakurai is that he's always understood that, as great as fan service is, a lot of times the most powerful things can come from characters you don't expect. Given how popular Rob and Game & Watch and Duck Hunt have all become, and to say nothing of Ness, who was kind of the original crazy hidden character, I do think that, like, even when it's super fan service oriented, he will always include material people don't know they want.
I do agree with Excite Bike Racer. Somebody said that in the chat, and I've always said that's by far the biggest old school Nintendo icon that's not in here. Like, from the NES days, there's no one else that's in that.
Balloon Fighter.
Even. Yeah, but you know what the difference is between Excite Bike and Balloon Fighter? Is that Excite Bike has a more exciting legacy. I know Balloon Fighter had Balloon Kid and it had the Tingle version of the game, but Excite Bike's not even really retro. Yeah, exactly. Excite Bikes had Excite Bots, Excite Trucks, Excite Bike 64, the Satellite View game, the WiiWare game, the tracks in Mario Kart. It's just like a ridiculous amount of stuff for a franchise that people still consider retro.
Nah, we need Urban Champion, clearly.
Like, it's, for me, this kind of weird oddity. Other than that, it's pretty much just, there's a story mode. They mention, stuff about it, but most of that other than, but I don't know. This feels, it feels too plausible for me to not fully dismiss the way I kind of like to fully dismiss these rumors, but in it, in the way that, like, when I heard the Ninka Vanrose link, like, I had a gut feeling it was right. Like, Duck Hunt was such a weird enough character and such, like, so perfect a choice in retrospect that it made sense. This doesn't really have that.
Saying that Balloon Fight has a lot of Smash rep already. I kind of feel like Balloon Fight's a franchise that Sakurai likes a lot, but doesn't feel like it deserves a fighter, which is why it's had an item, it's had elements of a stage.
Plus, no, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think to kind of expand upon what you said, man, any leak, it kind of goes around all of the text leaks that we've been covering in this live stream. You kind of feel like with a gut feeling that, okay, this is the right one, because if you kind of look at Sakurai's design philosophy, if you look at how he does things, and if you look at like the choices in them, you can kind of get a feeling, okay, this lines up with what he thinks is gonna, basically what he thinks would work in Smash Brothers, or that's what I think. I think any leak you can easily determine.
I would say, and I think this is kind of what Wolfman was getting at, is that this is a plausible sounding leak, but the only thing that is Simon Belmont, which is something that Verge had been said before, and if this is fake, is clearly why it's on here, is because other leaks were saying it. And every other choice seems like something that would fit in Smash, but it seems like a fan roster. It seems like it's everybody together that always does Smash speculation, be like, hey, let's nail down which 8 characters we think are most likely, like on a top list. It would be these characters, and at the end of the day, that's usually not what Sakurai does. He does his own thing.
That's one of the things that I think people kind of like, one of the very cool parts of this series, especially when it comes to its roster, is that I will kind of mix it in with some obvious characters, some kind of characters who are a little bit below that range, but still solid, and then a few like crazy, wild, out of nowhere characters. And that's, it's always been super exciting. And it just, even in a Smash has always been about fan service, and while this is clearly more aggressive about that, going to throw out like his decades of work and of kind of learning about how to surprise players.
I do want to point this out, that the week that Ryu was revealed for Smash DLC, I had a case for Ryu written up and ready to go on the site, and it never went out because he was actually revealed. And the week that Cloud came out, I had a case for Cloud written up, and it never went out. I'm not saying that's going to happen again, because, hey, it didn't happen for Bayonetta. I do currently have an RTC script written out for Lara Croft and for Ryu Hayabusa, so I'm just throwing that out there right now. Case to have proof, even though I don't think either's going to be announced.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, we'll see what happens.
I guess
King K. Rool's chances. I think all of us can agree with that, since this is a very fan servicey Smash, he has a good chance. But it's also like Ridley in Smash 4, where just because everyone expects him doesn't mean he's a sure thing. So I'd say he's got a decent chance.
Yeah, I mentioned this before, so I'm just going to say the truncated version. He got a costume. Clearly, he's popular. Boom. That's not stating that he's going to be in the game, just a statement that his popularity is definitely acknowledged.
And he could technically fill that retro role, potentially, considering how they reference K. Rool in the Mii costume. I
say Lara Croft because Lara's not a name, man. Come on. Someone's like, who's Lara Croft?
Lil Craft.
Sorry. All right, that was aggressive. Continue.
But no, I just basically think that he could potentially fit that retro role. Considering how they treated him with his costume and promoted him in Smash 4. They specifically said he was a retro revival.
I mean, for all we know, if he gets in the game, Sakurai could consider him the retro character. We don't know how his rules work.
Well, technically, it's worth just one kind of quick thing on that. Just because there's kind of been like 2 retro characters in each game from Melee onward. Because there's Game & Watch, but there's also the Ice Climbers. And
because I don't. Okay, first of all, Game & Watch is a hardware rep, not necessarily a retro rep.
All of like the hidden surprise characters have been both retro characters, but also hardware characters.
I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, but also I know you're going to say Duck Hunt and Little Mac, but I don't consider Little Mac retro because he had a Wii game, and that's what his appearance is based off of.
Maybe it's because I just found the Wii Punch-Out to be so not bad, but so kind of inherently derivative. Like, it was very clearly trying to simply recreate that exact experience. So it kind of, even his revival felt retro to me, but that's just, not fair on my point.
I guess, like, since so much was pulled out of the arcade edition, obviously I feel like Sakurai was pulling from his retro appearances a lot. So I get that, but it's just fan rules. It's like everything else. We're saying, hey, it's got to be this amount of this and this amount of this, and does this count as retro and does this not count as retro? I think the only time that he specifically said that he chose somebody for their retroness was Ice Climbers.
Yeah, because he specifically wanted that slot for that he wanted a role for an NES rep, and he had considered Excitebike among the finalists.
Right. I mean, I was going to build off what Alax said in our chat. He basically says basing decisions on whatever he said as fact is iffy to me. And I agree with that statement because every time the community builds a set of rules, they get instantly broken down. I mean, there was that misconception that fighting characters could not be in Smash Brothers, and the fans took it as a rule, and then look what happened.
Yeah.
We'll go back to the leak.
Well, yeah, I mean, even going back to the leak.
And I think that's the thing about that leak that makes it feel fake. It doesn't break any rules. There's no rules broken.
Yeah, that's
just whatever.
Yeah, right. Smash does have some levels of rules, but it also relaxes them in a lot of ways. And, each Smash does try to kind of... he has always tried to kind of... I think there's even like a Famitsu one we translated that's literally titled "Pushing the Boundaries." Like, he's always trying to saying it will stop being a gaming crossover, or that the mechanics will always change, but he always wants to change some things at least. It's why every character always feels slightly different.
Well, yeah, if you think that characters are chosen in like a basket of rules, I think that mentality anti-game development, because game development is all about pushing the boundaries and making progression, essentially. Game development is like making a picture, right? You don't want to be bound to a set of rules. You want to be creative and you want to be free. That's what Sakurai perceives Smash Brothers art, essentially. Making a huge... Look at that Everyone is Here drawing, right? Like, he wouldn't be able to make that drawing with a set of rules, Well,
he did have... Well, it's more that he did, but that the rules were changed from the previous one.
Well, yeah, there are some limits you must have, especially in gaming development, because costs can get too much and such, but you can't keep them tight forever. That's what I'm saying. They change constantly with the times, and Smash Brothers is all about being relevant, and if you don't change those rules, they'll be outdated, That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I think that's entirely the case. Like, Sakurai has, I think, said that he doesn't choose characters, like, say, the way which he used to describe the Wii Fit Trainer, specifically because people don't expect them, but I think he absolutely does players, and this is not... It's only surprising in the fact that there is not anything surprising.
Exactly. So... Because the whole thing about Smash Brothers is surprises. Look out with Ryu, Cloud, Bayonetta, hell, even Mega Man. They're all about surprises. So this leak does not do any of that, and I agree. So I'm personally going to brush this off. I guess we can... do you have anything else to say about this, Spazzy?
I think that Ashley is incredibly likely. I feel like she's a great counterpoint to Ridley. This leak, she just happens to be included on it. I just feel like she's really, really popular in Japan. And if we get Ridley because he's popular in the West, we're probably going to have a character that's primarily popular in the East, but still has worldwide popularity. And I feel like she is a good one.
Yeah, yes. I would agree on that. And, WarioWare, it carries a lot of popularity and respect. And he views that kind of like WarioWare as like with a lot of, I think, respect and a lot of admiration.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But anyways,
either this one or Verge's leak are probably broken tomorrow, based off of assist trophies and or stages.
You know, it's always fun watching a direct and seeing which leaks turn out to be broken. Especially, it just feels satisfying almost sometimes seeing those leaks be proven false, and it's like, hell yeah. Kind of ride on this high and such, and it's just fun seeing that. I just love when all leaks are like destroyed. It just makes you feel good about yourself.
Just to go on a bit of a side note for that, I will say I was really happy. I was nowhere even near any one of those leaks about Ultimate. Like having that like surprise taken from me would have drastically like seen it happen, and I guess you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's funny that I'm on this stream right now. I was really trying to avoid things today, but I don't think anything even came out. Do we even know how long the direct is going to be?
No. I mean, there was a funny
right now for any possible last minute things, and nope, nothing.
I mean, the funny part was the stream did appear on Nico Nico, but it only a minute. That unless it's just Sakurai saying like fuck you or something. Like I don't know.
No, it's as you all know, Smash is a game about smashing your opponents, and this time it says not kidding, and that's it.
It just says the end, and then it goes to the copyright stuff, and that's it.
I'm betting 30 minutes.
Phantom just popped in.
Oh, hey Phantom.
What's up?
Thanks for joining.
You're welcome.
But anyways, you want let's actually go back for a minute because I want to get Phantom's thoughts on the Vergeman stuff. Because I think we're completely done with the Spanish press leak. We've already said a lot of our thoughts, and I want to get his thoughts on it because he's the Pokemon extraordinaire of our group.
Right.
So
I am a very big Pokemon fan.
So what do you think about the whole not Decidueye, Mimikyu, or Lycanroc thing Vergeman said?
So here's the thing. First off, we already know that. Give me a second. We already know that Sun and Moon is definitely, if a new Pokemon rep is coming in, Sun and Moon is most likely the best bet. Not only because 20th anniversary stuff, but also because it was development started right after Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which is, as we already know, before the initial planning of Smash Ultimate. That was 2015, and Sun and Moon started development in 2014. And anything that comes from Ultra, and it's most likely that nothing will come from Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, because Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon started development at the final development towards like the end of development for Sun and Moon, and I believe it was reported by The Verge as in the beta phase of Sun and Moon. So I already think that no Ultra Beasts or anything, or like maybe if Lycanroc does come, it's not going to be Dusk Lycanroc. It's most likely going to be Midnight Lycanroc or Midday Lycanroc. In terms of Mimikyu, I can see it being possible as it is a very favorite Pokemon, but based upon a interview, Masuda did say that his favorite starter is Litten, and that Omori said that his favorite starter was Rowlet, and in Japan for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, Rowlet was a number one Pokemon, but Primarina was the only fully evolved starter that was a favorite, and that was number 3, I believe.
Oh man, if we got Primarina, that would just cause so many meltdowns. I'd love it.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
And considering the fact that I believe it was also reported, I heard about this somewhere, but Moray Towers is one of the top 5 most popular Splatoon stages. I don't have a source for it, but it's just, hold on.
Now, so let's continue with others.
No, so considering the fact that it's I don't remember where I heard it from. I believe me and Omni were talking about it Artsy on me before, and he said that I believe it was him or one of our friends, Chris Sheshel, one of the basically Smash Fight people. We were talking about it while we were playing Splatoon, and one of them said that Mori Towers was one of the most popular stages. And considering the fact of how we know that most very popular things in either Japan are normally kind of like the things to get in Smash, I think either based upon that, Primarina, Mimikyu, or possibly Rowlet or the Decidueye would be the best things to come in. But considering the fact of, Masuda's favorite is Litten, it's also possible that we could get Incineroar. So it's kind of out of those.
All right.
All right. Sounds good. So
First time I saw Primarina being brought up in any serious capacity. I don't think it's happened, but I'm really glad that we talked about it.
No. Oh, definitely. Primarina's great.
Definitely. So,
Here's one thing. I don't think we're going to get more than one newcomer. I don't know, man. We never get, like...
Oh, you mean in this... No, I thought you meant in the whole game.
Yeah, just one more newcomer.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting... Yeah, I don't think we're getting more than one newcomer with the although possibly with an Echo.
I think
it could
we're
be an
gonna
Echo in the trailer, or I think Nintendrix brought this up in his predictions, and I think he's spot on. They might be a little like, Robin has a new Final Smash. But what happened to Chrom? He's an Echo now, sort of deal. Like they might throw it in with a rework of another character.
I think that could really make sense.
I think that could happen too. They could introduce Echoes after they announced a change with a fighter or a mode or something.
Did with Zero Suit Saiyans.
Gen 7 Pokemon trainer. I agree. It's going to have Rowlet, Rowlet, Incineroar, and whatever the hell Primarina's weird middle one is. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? It's going to be interesting tomorrow. But anyways, I think we should finish this off with one of our most popular segments, I feel like, in these discussions, and that is the picture leaks.
Oh, yes.
Is there any way for us to get the links to these picture leaks to people?
I already gave them a link to the our document. I mean, you can see all the people that is in our.
Oh man, yeah, good thing you give them.
We have a document.
Yeah, I gave them the document, view only.
We might want to do that again now.
Yeah, here you go. Here you go. I give you guys the link again. So here you go. But basically, there's this entire kind of catalog. We're going to go to the bottom one, which is the UI and Picture Leak Extravaganza. I properly named that myself. And we're not going to go over everything like in depth, but we're just kind of hoping to get a little chuckle and laughs. So the first one on the list...
Okay, go ahead.
So the first one on the list is a different UI picture leak. This leak is all in English. It's not the Japanese one that was covered on Japan Time in the video push Justin did. So this one is very plain as day and looks a lot different compared to Sakurai's menu. I mean, what do you think, Spazzy?
Where does that S look off? Like the S for Smash looks like it's off center or something. It's really... I'm not a graphic designer, so somebody who has a better eye for that sort of stuff can confirm. But that is hell to me.
The bottom curve is the same with the top curve. Is the issue.
But
and it doesn't fit in with the other S.
Yeah, it doesn't. It seems like the S was added last minute, and the person couldn't decide whether to put it underneath the Smash logo or. It seemed like the placement like plopped on there.
How do you think, just for a sec, what do you think of this, like, actually, like, mechanically? Because obviously here the S is for sucks, but in terms of whether...
You know what? I'm not... There's definitely a lot of people on the staff that would know it a lot better than I do. It seems like, are those the same basic options from Brawl?
Seems like it, yeah. Yes. Besides challenges is on there.
I feel like that would make more sense in the vault.
The only thing that's throwing me off is games, but I think that's the replacement for Games and More or something. I don't know.
I mean, it seems like I like the placement a bit, but it's really like scrunched up, especially when you consider that like this is a shot of this.
Like, I don't know, yeah, and I guess the thought is that if you move from I guess it's highlighted games. So if you highlight Smash would pop out and games would go back a little bit, maybe, or Smash highlighted. I can't even tell what's highlighted.
Yeah, it looks like nothing is highlighted. The only thing I can see highlighted maybe is Smash Brothers, like you said, but there's nothing indicating that. So I don't know.
At the end of the day, it looks fake to me, but I couldn't tell you why exactly. Except for the things that I pointed out.
I mean, I'll be honest. If more polish was put into this mock-up, it might have looked really nice, but it just looks like it was rushed, maybe.
I just also want to make one final note, which is that the select mode doesn't really fit with anything else, and I'm pretty sure this was fairly clearly designed to be more shaped on like a sideways V.
Yeah, it looks like that, doesn't it? It looks like something that'd be in...
Maybe they're using the second analog stick to move the menu around. Huh? You ever thought about that, like Melee style? Yeah, but I don't buy
like
either.
We've moved beyond those times.
Yeah, we have. So, anyways,
even if this is real, it's boring to talk about. So let's move.
Yeah,
on.
Let's move on to the next one, which is a classic mode image. Supposedly.
Okay.
And this one doesn't actually show classic mode. Like, it's the gameplay itself. It just shows the UI, which obviously is easier to fake, but basically shows it's on the easy difficulty. It's on stage 1 out of seems like 12, maybe 13 stages, and it shows the stock icon in the upper right-hand corner.
Stages.
What I'm going to say about this one is, what's the point of this one?
That's the say is this is not an interesting leak, which instead makes me think, the more interesting thing to talk about is, do you think we will be getting traditional classic mode? I'm guessing yes, but
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The blowback. I think that Smash 4 suffered because they felt they needed to split modes between two games and make the modes different. So they tried to make both classic modes really different for no real reason, you know? I feel like the modes in both games felt unpolished because they were making two games. It was basically, besides the roster of characters, it was like a game was split in half pretty much, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I would agree. I think they'll definitely change it up a bit. I think it'll be different enough from Smash 4 to settle everyone's expectations, but I still think they're going to go a different route for the next one. I just don't think they're going to do a classic mode like they've had been in 64 and Melee and even Brawl. So,
yeah, I could see them trying to take like a third route.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is...
Yeah, this is
wrong, but...
Yeah, this is boring leak, but the next one I think we'll just skip over because it's a leak that was already debunked by our own Push Dustin. So
but I'd like to talk real quick for those that haven't heard about it, or maybe that haven't heard us debunk it, and we'll give it like 5 minutes. You go, Martin.
Yeah, so basically it's a menu that another menu mock-up that's all in Japanese. It gives off it's a different vibe. Like, it gives off a different menu layout, very different from what Smash Bros. Has done in the past. It kind of looks like Mario Party almost, in my opinion. I don't know why. But basically, the reason why we say this is 100% fake is because the Japanese, first of all, literally translates in, like, robotic kind of terms, which only comes from Google Translates.
Yeah, so, like the big thing is that Push Dustin pointed out, the word Smash that they use here is a translation that could mean Smash in Japanese, but it's not the word that they use in every Smash Brothers to say Smash.
Yeah.
There's also a bunch of other things that I just want to point out because this thing is hilariously fake. They use that like split 8-part broken circle that was used in Melee and never used again because they just used the Smash logo to refer to original stuff. Bowser Jr.'s character art is character art from, I believe, New Super Mario Bros. U, and not from his actual game, even though this was produced after this game came out, after Ultimate was announced, and after all of the character art was shown.
Yeah.
And who's that?
Robin on his side. Robin on his side.
Oh, okay.
I'm surprised people didn't get that, because you can see the Levin sword right there.
Well, his right leg looks like his hand. It honestly kind of looked like, what if Amaterasu was carrying some kind of weird idol of like an old 8-bit Zelda god?
What kind of doll?
I know what you're saying, but it's definitely Robin on his side.
No.
The most interesting thing. The most interesting thing about this is you see Bowser Jr., Mario, and Sonic doing the Abbey Road walking across the street. Is that supposedly was going to be animated with different vignettes of the characters interacting in different ways, which I think would be pretty cool.
One last thing, this menu has an atrocious use of space and structure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is that? Like, person, is that like 30-40% that's just not taken up by actual like relevant information?
Yeah, I would say about. Yeah, I would say about that. Well, maybe 30%.
Yeah, it's kind of a mess of a menu. Yeah, unless you're unlocking other modes or something.
I'm surprised the first notice of the fact that this being fake is the fact that why would Nintendo stretch out their own Smash logo like that?
Yeah, it seems it's not proportioned.
Maybe it would actually
it like
move.
Somebody just stretched it out.
Maybe it would just stretch in the other way, like some kind of like it was some sort of like gelatinous creature.
Smash Ball confirmed as a playable character.
Fake Smash Ball.
For Dracula, Alucard would make more sense. I'm gonna say this. I'm not gonna stay on Simon Belmont too long, but Simon Belmont has more playable appearances in the Castlevania franchise than any other character. And Castlevania is basically separated into two groups: the classic action platformers and the Metroidvania games. I mean, there's other examples, obviously, like Lords of Shadow. But the Metroidvania games are best exemplified with Alucard, and the classic games are really best represented by Simon. So it depends on what game you'd want to. I'm not saying he's in the game or not. I'm just saying that if you're going to pick, if I were to pick a Castlevania representative for a fighting game crossover, it would either be Alucard or Simon Belmont, depending on what I want to do. Maybe Dracula. But even in Dream Fighters TV Megamix, which had Snake and Bomberman and other characters like that, the Castlevania character they chose was Simon Belmont. So
I think
anyway,
he's a first among equals, if that makes sense.
You know, it's not a franchise that exactly has a cloud, and within the context of the series, he's not even the most important Belmont, although canonically, I think he's the only one that's defeated Dracula twice. But yeah, anyways, sorry. I just saw that and I just wanted to...
No, it's fine, because the next leak we're going to talk about is character related, and it's a character leak. So...
Isn't that great? Sorry. What? Laying it down. The best selling of the Metroidvania games is Symphony of Night. It's the one that defined the genre. It's a genre defining game. And every other handheld game was IGA and Igarashi just being like, I want to recapture the magic that is Symphony. And I like the Aria, Dawn of Sorrow and Aria of Sorrow. But I mean, they're not, if you look at like top 10 lists of Metroidvania games, they're not the ones that people talk about, and they're not the best selling one. So anyways, I don't know why I got a little passionate there.
Because this is what happens when the two of us get in the same chat room. every single time. Because right now, I'm literally not even going to talk about why Aria of Sorrow is so great and counter you, because I want us to actually stay on at least a modicum of the
I will
schedule.
talk. Yeah. Here's the deal with the. Okay, listen, we're gonna do we'll talk about Aria of Sorrow later, Wolfman.
I won't. I'm going to be going to sleep after watching regular show and eating ice cream.
I'm gonna be doing it. That sounds amazing. Sounds much better than what we're doing now. And we're gonna see a Smash Direct tomorrow, guys. Why are we still talking about this? Also, you know what? Order of Ecclesia is super underrated because I feel like it was them trying to go in a different direction with those Metroidvania, Castlevania.
Really like it. I think the problem is it struggles with like. I think that there's a lot of really frustrating difficulty spikes early points in the game that just make it a little more fun. Oh god damn it! It's again we're doing this.
I'm gonna say this too. If Fergus is right and Simon is in the game, which right now could be real, could be fake, doesn't matter. But if he is in the game, I would like probably Alucard or Dracula to be the. I'll say this. Alucard as an assist trophy, Dracula as an annoying stage boss.
Yeah.
I have no words on this. I'm not into Castlevania.
Yeah, I don't know. But hey, guys, look forward to Wolfman and I reviewing season 2 of Netflix Castlevania when that comes out a little bit later.
It will probably end with the two of us driving stakes into each other's hearts. Of Crank, we're both falling out of the helicopter. Okay, now on to the Mario Chibi Robo one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So bad.
How come Chibi Robo looks like he's got a higher resolution than Mario?
They probably got rid of because they probably photoshopped the other guy out and then put Chibi Robo in. And honestly, like I know that they have to make the characters larger, but Chibi Robo looks really wrong when he's Mario size, especially because that's Ryu's size.
Oh.
Say that he's he's probably Olimar size, right? That's what you'd want to do with him?
Make him about like half the size, like Pichu size, or
yeah. He doesn't seem like he's a tiny guy, and it seems like cover their tracks via Photoshop. Trying to cover the leftovers from when they photoshopped the character or something. It's just kind of weird.
The user interface is all kinds of wrong.
It is. Yeah, I don't think it's
not even the right font for their names.
It literally looks like they just took the first font they saw and just put it into the character UI. Like,
I'm interested in Phantoms because I think he has a better eye for this sort of artistry than the three of us do. It just looks, because all I can say is it looks fake.
The first thing about the fact that it looks fake is that with Smash's new lighting engine, you wouldn't see that much black edges around Chibi Robo's model, or like the shading. Although like there would be shading, the shading isn't like that dark. From what I can tell, like even with like you can tell like with the platforms that are maybe because it's the stage, but you can tell with the Battlefield platforms, the shading is not the same because the shading is off because Chibi Robo has a darker shadow because his shadow is like directly overlapped onto the Battlefield's platform's shadow. But with Mario's shadow, you can clearly tell that it's not as dark, and you can clearly see it separated between the Battlefield platform's shadow and his own.
Okay. So Simon Belmont is not. He's in Vampire Killer. He's in Simon's Quest. He's in Haunted Castle. He's in Castlevania Chronicles. He's in Judgment, obviously. He's in Harmony of Despair, obviously. He's in Castlevania, Lords of Shadow, Circle of the Moon. He's like in like 9 games.
Anyway, I also think it's really important that with Lycan Rock, you could really use Dusk Form instead.
What are you people? Huh? What is going on? Are you guys in the chat? Or am I missing something?
It's a YouTube
I'm just relitigating arguments from.
Oh, okay. I thought there was some insight that I was completely missing on.
If you look at our YouTube channel with a live stream, there's chat. I am literally not talking about Castlevania anymore. Even though I'd like to respond to you, Gail. That is it. I'm done.
I also just want to make a quick point, which is that I did an incredibly cursory Google image search right before we really discussed this, and I can't really tell. And there's some chibi robo art that looks a bit like this. Nothing exactly like it, but it's incredibly easy to just change the model slightly. Like there is a lot of art of chibi robo running to the forward right position.
Relax says, I think Joker would be a unique newcomer. I think so too. Persona's a pretty great game series, so why not? And Atlas is, and having an Atlas rep is what? Actually, I can kind of see Jack Frost being an assist trip. I can see him getting the Bomberman treatment. Atlas is kind of like Sega's Hudson. How Konami has Hudson, but not really. Except, they treat them well and let them run as their own studio, so it's not the same at all.
Yeah.
But still, I could see a Jack Frost assist. I think that would actually be kind of cool. Here's something about this Chibi Robo thing. He has the least dynamic character portrait art I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Pose. Yeah, it's static and boring.
This is almost literally the same art he has from the GameCube version before they were able to invent higher resolution character art.
Yeah, it reminds me of an old CG render, like Mario from Mario 64.
A bad brawl leak. Let's move on.
Yeah, and then the last one, they didn't even try with the last one.
Awesome!
Wow.
Bad. That's almost certainly Isabelle's character art from New Leaf, isn't it? Or Happy Home Designer, or...
It looks like they photoshopped the eye expression and stuff. It just looks...
It doesn't look okay.
Yeah, the eye... was she oh my god, this is terrible, it's amazing, I love this.
Look at that building. That building looks like it was ripped straight out of a 3DS.
It does.
It doesn't even stand right. You should be able to see I might be wrong, but shouldn't you be able to see less of the ceiling? From the position it's in?
I don't know. Probably, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that is actually it. So
I think that might actually be the model. What they did, they took a screenshot of the office and the 3DS and then just cut around it. That's kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, you could easily.
You know what I do like? I like that her character portrait has her winking though. At least they tried a little bit there.
Maybe it's just a subtle hint that they faked it. They're just wink, wink, I don't know.
Let's say this. Somebody said, I read in the chat that I was going to comment on. I don't even remember, man.
You know what? Well, we're going to wrap up here soon. How about we take some questions from the chat?
Some viewer questions.
So if you guys want to bring some questions in, you can. We'll probably only answer 2, maybe 3. So just pour them in and let us know what you want to ask. We'll do our best.
Talking about Dairy Queen characters getting in Smash.
What?
Dairy Queen at the game.
What?
Oh,
DQ
Dragon Quest.
Dragon
Quest.
I'm being an asshole, guys. I don't think Rex can be an Echo Fighter of Shulk because I don't think that makes any sense having played both of their games.
Okay, first of all, I want to talk about the Crunchyroll tweet because they're literally...
It's a Crunchyroll tweet. Yeah, Crunchyroll tweet.
Dang it. I mean the Crunchyroll.
No, I said it wrong. Not.
I don't think Bubble Bobble would be a cool character because Bubble Bobble's a game. I do think Bub and or Bob from Bubble Bobble would be kind of cool though.
But anyways, I want to talk about that tweet because there's legitimately people saying that because of that Crunchyroll, oh my gosh, I'm too tired. Them are trying to tease an anime character joining Smash Brothers, and I'm thinking to myself, why? They're actually journalists too, you know? They've covered stuff like that in the past.
That's so dumb. Who doesn't want the character in Smash? Like that's like,
I'm gonna say this too. Somebody was saying, I already lost it. Sorry, continue. I don't even know what's going on.
Like you already had Mr. Ibuki saying, "Hey, I would love to have Springman in Smash, but he's probably way too young to be doing that because it's only been a year." So, like, everybody wants their character in Smash, especially if you're already part of Nintendo. Like, you're part of Nintendo history, like with ARM. But it's like, hey, have you gotten around enough people to actually know who you are? I mean, yeah, Lucas is in Smash Brothers, and we haven't had Mother 3 release in America, but yet people still know who he is because a strong community and stuff like that. Whereas Goku, yeah, of course people know who Goku is. He's one of the biggest anime characters of all time. But we already said he's an anime character, not a video game character.
Yeah, I mean,
there may be a day where
that he's laughed at Goku. He has laughed at Goku.
Yes,
I would like that's the one line that I like. It could change. He could change and decide to let in any character from anything. But I feel like that's the one line that I personally never want crossed in Smash is non-gaming characters, because that literally opens up the gate for anybody, and it creates chaos and it loses the theme of the game to me.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, whatever. Who cares? Hello Kitty, Kermit the Frog. Fuck it.
Yeah, I think ultimately, I don't want to say entirely never, because Sakurai, because there have been things that I never expected to like, and Sakurai has made me I've been wrong about stuff in the past when it turned out to work way better than I expected. But like, Smash didn't really start as a compendium of Nintendo history. It was just a fun game that used Nintendo characters to try to get around like the tone Sakurai wanted. Since then, it has become, a repository of Nintendo history, and a lot of Nintendo history is gaming history. That far, but I don't necessarily know if it could really how well it could work if it had to go further, where it would have to be have to represent anime history, and comic book history, and film history, and television history, and American cartoon history, or webcomic history.
It becomes Mugen. Mugen, it's a mess because it loses its central theme. Somebody said things we think will get two questions. Somebody said, what do I think about Golden Sun? And somebody said, what do you think is going to be disconfirmed tomorrow, like any heartbreaks? I can answer that with both questions. I think we're going to see an Isaac Assist Trophy tomorrow. And I actually really like Golden Sun, and I would love Isaac to be playable. I think we have very few characters that use any sort of earth magic or plant magic attacks based off of those elements. And he would be cool. And I also like the game series. That being said, I mean, hey, Palutena's Reflect, which worked kind of like what is the move synergy? It's been a
Earth
forever.
Yeah, I think it's move.
So I mean, yeah, I really think I think he probably did okay in the ballot, and I think his prize for doing okay in the ballot is the same as Crystal's prize, which is going to be coming back as an assist trophy.
See that. Plus, it would be one of those things where he brings
dreams will be shown off. Sorry, continue.
No, I was going to say that it's kind of like how Ganondorf gets his Ocarina of Time design from Melee, or how Ike gets his Brawl design back. Bringing back trophies that had been left behind might be kind of fun.
I think he's by far the biggest.
And certainly the best of the ones I'd like. No, that or Barbara the Bad, but no, probably him more, just because of that kind of that mechanical uniqueness. I think we're gonna get one 3 stages left that haven't been confirmed. I get at least one of them. Maybe Poke Floats, maybe Fountain of Dreams, maybe Pirate Ship. Don't necessarily think more than one, and it's not going to be like a big highlight. One might be a big highlight, or it could just be like in the background. But I think
another question someone asked. Toad Taylor asks, "What third-party character has the best chance of getting in?" We never really talked about, I think, like, which third-party character is the best overall. I mean, what do you guys think?
I'm assuming
Then it's Simon Belmont. If you don't believe Virgin, then we can discuss things.
yeah, in terms of most likely God, I feel like maybe another Square character.
Sorry.
A Dragon's Quest character, maybe Gino, just based off of popularity. He already got the rights for the costume, so the character rights can't be that much more difficult if he really wants to do it.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think Gino is probably the most likely for Square. Maybe a Resident
Dragon's Quest. Oh, Resident Evil, but you know who I would say more for Capcom is Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I actually think that a Bandai Namco is way more likely than a lot of people think, because we didn't actually see a new Bandai Namco character in Smash Force DLC. So I think that maybe I said this on Japan Time. Like, I think Heihachi maybe has a chance to be revealed, and I still stand by that.
Splatterhouse boys.
Heihachi was a Me custom DLC, so you're technically wrong.
He had said, he wasn't sure how his moves could be implemented. But that might be kind of a weird Sakurai vagary. Yeah, I think Heihachi is probably of Namco's the biggest.
I'm gonna say there's always the Tales of characters in Klonoa, neither of which I don't know. I don't really see either showing up. Same with Soul Calibur. I think Tekken's the logical next franchise. I'm gonna actually say something different from everyone always and say Kazuya, because Kazuya in Street Fighter X Tekken was he was the original protagonist. He has a red eye, so if there's any hint towards that, hey man, he's got the devil gene stuff, so he has a more interesting moveset potential than Heihachi. I think Kazuya is a better choice. Sorry.
Fair enough.
In terms of...
Sounds good. Well, anyways, I guess, do you guys have any final thoughts on rumors in general going into the presentation tomorrow?
But for third parties, real quick, I also think Rayman has an outside shot.
I think that there's not many Western characters that I think have a particularly strong chance. Rayman is probably the strongest.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, I think. Or actively asked Ubisoft to include him. Or maybe it was the other way, but...
Red-Eye leak is not a leak. It's just something he said that people may or may not be reading too much into, and they're probably reading too much into.
I can tell you,
he just said...
I can tell you I have red eyes right now, just reading that comment. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll take that back. My apologies.
Let's hey Martin, let's go down the list. Let's do Discord order real quick and just say our final thoughts on leaks, and let's.
Yeah, it's better to wrap it up. Actually, no. Why don't you talk more Castlevania? Because I'm pretty sure we'll go on for another hour.
I have thoughts and feelings on Castlevania.
Castlevania is a video game series that started in the mid to late 1980s, published by Konami. It initially started going on the NES and Famicom before moving to a variety of other video game platforms. It was important for both side-scrolling action and the invention of the Metroidvania genres of video games.
Yeah. So all that.
Yep. That's pretty much.
Phantom, do you have any final thoughts, Phantom?
With the directors in 12 hours, I really don't see why all of these leaks are coming out when everything is literally going to be, everything that they spew out is literally going to be either confirmed or disconfirmed, and most likely all of them are going to be disconfirmed around you. I'm not sure why people can't just wait 12 hours or at least 24 hours for just to get a word from Sakurai, Nintendo directly. You guys are making things way more bigger than it needs to be, and it's really irritating because you have all these garbage leaks. And I'm sorry to whoever the artist is, whoever works on these, but let's be honest. If you got, okay, I'm gonna sound pretty. I don't know if pretentious is the right word, but if you guys really want to make good leaks, study what people. No, it's not people. Study Sakurai and the work that Sakurai's wife is doing. Because the Sumashu, whatever it's called, the Smash leak where the logo is super stretched out, the menu leak, it could be so much better if it literally just used the design theory that Sakurai's wife has. You could even just make a basic title screen. Because Push already made a tweet of like Push already made a tweet showing the demo title screen where it says special. It has like the build number at the top, and it's like you can make things based off what we already have. Even though we have very little, we still have a whole lot just based off the menus, just based off of the title screen, and even though the actually I don't know if anybody knows this, but the title screen at Nintendo NY, that title screen actually didn't have a logo at all. It just said build number 0. something. Anyways, if you guys just use what we already have, you guys could actually make good leaks. But you guys don't, and you guys use resources of like old games, and you guys make yourselves look like idiots when you could just easily just create something simple and easy. It's like the leak of Battlefield, where nobody believed it was real. That guy who was I think it was the guy that was friends with Master of Hyrule or whatever, or something like that, on Twitter, where he posted the picture of the top view of Battlefield, and nobody believed it. And then we see Smash revealed, and it was actually real. It's like you guys can do something so simple, but you guys take it way too far, and you guys make yourselves look like you don't know what you're doing, and then it just makes people wait even longer, and then the community gets even more fed up and more spread out just based off leaks, and then we end up having stuff like, oh, Waluigi, or Bayonetta, is she gonna get fixed, or is this just a glitch? Like, of course, Sakurai said, hey, I still have changes to make, but it's like you guys gotta really stop being so over the top with your leaks and just be simple. Because if you guys are simple, we wouldn't have to wait so much longer in despair. We could just wait and be like, oh, hey, well, I guess, we could just talk about this. And hey, we have a discussion. It's like how we're having now. Thank God we're not the ones that cover these leaks all the time. We only cover them when they get like really big and people actually start believing.
We cover them when enough people on Twitter bother us to cover them.
Yeah. I'm really glad I haven't. Well, actually, I can't say I haven't covered a leak because we're doing leaks right now. But if I were to do a leak video, I'd be really harsh on you guys.
Yeah.
I think I said more than just a little. So sorry about that.
The one thing I was going to say, Phantom, is that like this is going to sound really weird and probably kind of pretentious, definitely pretentious, but like, and his wife and the rest of the people who make these games, like they're very smart. They put in a lot of work to make these like not just play really well, but look really well. Like the Smash community deserves, as much as bad fake leaks are fun, like that hilarious bomb or that hilarious Chibi Robo one. We should, we deserve good leaks. We should, try to deceive people with a level of skill and ability that, actually rivals the design of these games.
Yeah, definitely. So, anyways, I guess that will do it for the live stream. So Wolfman, Spazzy, Phantom, where can they find you besides here at Source Gaming?
In on this channel, man. Come on, we're all here.
Yeah, I'm trying to be.
Sometimes I really wonder how many people only go to our webpage or only go to our YouTube. I feel like most people do both or only YouTube nowadays. I don't know.
Hey, I'm trying to be proper, man. I'm trying something, but
questions now. Real quick. So I think Richter and Trevor aren't as important as Simon and are alt costumes at the very most. I think Shadow the Hedgehog is not that likely. We just haven't seen all the assist trophies, but a Shadow Echo is possible. I don't think that
Sonic Echo.
We'll see it either way. And I don't think the Red Eye link is a hint towards K. Rool, but it's possible, and he's somewhat likely.
If it's a link to a character, then or if it's there are a lot of characters with red eyes.
But yeah, my final thought is just leaks are fun sometimes, but almost everyone I've seen is 100% garbage, and not even fun garbage, just garbage. At least have fun, man. At least, like you said, that Chibi Robo was at least so bad that it was fun to stare at. So,
and that Isabelle one was just a shame to look at. Like, I don't know, that one was bad.
Next time I'm on some sort of live thing, we'll know at least one more character. So
yes,
that'll be
we
fun.
will.
I think we're getting two tomorrow. I think we're getting two.
Yeah, because tomorrow we are actually going.
I'm kind of a downer, but I feel like we never, except for an initial reveal, have I think ever gotten more than one character.
The final direct. We got
we got
it was the final, granted. So yeah.
Robin and Lucina. Although as an Echo fighter, you could argue that she's somewhat lesser in importance, and Dark Pit was hinted at, but
sure. I think they'll start off with a character, end with a character, and then they'll have an Echo. That's it. I think I was late when you guys were talking about this. I
think best case scenario is it opens with a character, maybe has an Echo somewhere, an Echo or two actually in the thing, and closes with a character.
Yeah.
Best case.
Toad, to just answer to Toad Taylor, who asked, what if no characters are revealed? That is a possibility. I think we're not expecting it because it's been 2 months since Ultimate's announced, or more formal announcement. I think the reason why we're kind of questioning of more than one character is simply because, given that there are likely not that many newcomers, that Sakurai will presumably want to stretch them out and keep at least one, if not two, as completely hidden.
Yeah. Also, just so people know we're actually closing this out, you can find me in Twitter at 8bit_Spazzy. Besides that, just all of the Source Gaming stuff. I do have an Instagram and some other stuff, but I never plug it, so I'm not going to plug it now. You guys want to plug your personal Twitters or anything?
Sure. I think you want to go first.
Basically, you can just find me on Twitter. My YouTube channel doesn't really do anything all that much, so if you want to find me there, you can go ahead. It's Wasteland. That's pretty much it for me. Phantom, do you have anything?
You can find me on Twitter at Blackhearted Inc. At Blackhearted Inc. Or you can Google. Or I think Google might be the best bet. You just Google Phantom Z2, or just go to just click my channel. My channel, little channel circle thing in the YouTube chat. So you can just take it to my YouTube channel, where you'll find all of my links and stuff, like my Twitter, I think my Twitch as well, and then my Instagram maybe. I think that's on there.
What about you, Wolfman?
My Twitter feed is at Twitter/WolfmanJew. That's one word. However, I don't really use it that much, so it's probably just easiest to meant for you to go into our Source Gaming Discord page.
Yeah, that's probably the best bet. We have a lot of users talking about leaks like this, and we actually want to thank them, because a lot of the leaks were from other users finding them. So without them, we wouldn't be doing this video. So it's because of the users that we're even doing this live stream. So also, too, don't forget, tomorrow is the Direct. We will be doing our live reactions to them at 12 p.m. No, wait, no.
None of the people here, right?
I will be writing up the written reactions.
I don't even know if I'm doing a live reaction. So
I think Kawlun and Push, Dustin are the two main people, and we may have other people show up.
I'm thinking about showing up because I start work at 10:30, and I'm kind of betting that the direct will be 30 minutes long. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna head to work super early and then just sit in the park and wait, and then at 10 o'clock, I'm like, okay, I'll join the call.
I'm in a similar position.
Watch it, you guys. Yeah.
I'm in a similar position where there's a slight chance I'll show up, but
Yeah. So, anyways, the direct starts at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as 7 Pacific Time. We'll be doing the live reactions and a little pre-show, I think.
I'll be there. It'll be me, KawlunDram, along with Push Dustin and my good friend Matthew a Shadowlink Levenska. That's right, folks. I'm here now at the very end.
This live stream is not long enough. You want to go over all of your predictions?
Hell no. Actually, no. I think they'll show. They'll do a lot of things. I'm expecting them to kind of appease the Smash community. I'm expecting buffs for Bayonetta. It's long deserved at this point.
Wasn't she already buffed though? By can she turn if you witch time items?
I'm really excited to see them announce newcomers, Goku and Paul McCartney. I think it's going to be truly great. Honestly, I have no idea what to expect tomorrow, and I was hoping for a real Nintendo Direct.
You're one of those people that actually likes Nintendo games and not just talking about Smash Brothers.
Bros, I just want GTA 5 on my Switch.
Let's please end this. Please.
I just need to sleep, for God's sake.
yeah, let's just end it.
Wait. Before we go, don't forget to check out Nanton's picks for the characters in Smash, which went up 3 hours ago, and 5 hours ago, Japan Time podcast, which featured Spazzy and Epic Mart, and you can watch that where they talk about predictions for tomorrow's Direct. So if you haven't got enough of this one, you can listen to that as well.
You can't go to sleep and all you can think about is Smash. We have 3 more hours of stuff for you.
And when you want to watch the Direct tomorrow, don't watch it from the pesky, official Nintendo channel or some stupid normie shit like that. Watch it with us. We're gonna say funny things over it.
How about we just pull an all-nighter for the stream and just wait for the Direct?
No!
Just talk about...
I mean...
the great thing about me hosting this stream right now is I can fucking end it whenever I want to.
Please take us home.
I can pull the trigger right now.
Please take us to the promised land.
Special thanks to our super patron, Duke of Dorks. It means it's over. When you say that, it's over.
Duke of Dorks, we snap our fingers and Thanos comes in.
I'm gonna pull the trigger. That's it. Goodbye.